Hello everybody, and welcome back to our playthrough of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. We are currently about to enter our first day of court in Case 3, Turnabout Samurai. Oh, we're already here.
Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers.
Alright, so I was going to do a little bit of a recap here while the lobby music played, but I guess we're going right into the courtroom for this one, which is pretty exciting. So Will Powers, our client, has been accused of murdering his co-star, Jack Hammer, on the show The Steel Samurai. And unlike the first two cases of this game, we didn't actually see the murder happen, or who did it. All we know is that Will Powers has been declared the suspect here and is being charged with murder, and that Jack had a stab wound that is attributed to the weapon that the Steel Samurai character on the show traditionally uses, the samurai spear. We also know that they found the body in Studio 1, which is where we were exploring yesterday, and there are some other characters involved here. We have a security lady and then the assistant director on the show, so let's see what happens today.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please.
So we're going up against him again, apparently.
The prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer in Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well, I would like to move on to some testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. Very well, I call a most familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court?
Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guide map here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio, see? This here is the employee area. The actors did a run-through of their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. The security lady that works at studios was here at 1 o'clock p.m. that day. Past the security station, there's a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder, where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. And after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 o'clock p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now, jump ahead to later that day, 5 o'clock p.m. The production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was canceled. The time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear found and lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. Okay, now that I'm seeing this screenshot again, it does look like that hole is like part of the suit. Maybe the spear pierced through that. Because I don't think that's actually his six-pack, is it? I don't know, maybe it is. That's the case, in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to that whole thing again? We can skip that. I think I can probably remember that.
So the murder weapon was a spear? How medieval.
Samurai spear added to the court record. This spear was found stuck in the chest of the victim. Your Honor, this case is quite simple if you ask one question. And that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see?
Understood.
Let's call this security officer to the stand. Well, this ought to be interesting. Will the witness declare her name?
Hmm? My, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. Your name, please. Oh, dearie, no need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma. Your name, please! Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witnesses to say their names. Yep, it's a recurring gag. Wendy Oldbag, dearie. Oh, I guess we hadn't actually heard her full name, and she never actually introduced herself to us, did she? Is that a wordplay on Wendy Oldbag, I'm assuming? So just call me Grandma. It's practically everything that's so young. Can you believe it? There was a boy that kept her shit coming to your head when you called me an old bag. Well, I just cried because I should be, see? Objection! I object to the witness's talkativeness. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. I was just getting to the good part, dearie. Perhaps we can get to the testimony. Now, the witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct? Yes, he was. And to get to the scene of the murder, someone had to pass by you? You know your stuff, dearie. You may begin your testimony. She sure is one hell of an old bag. And I see she's continuing to suck up to authority, as usual. Witness's account. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 o'clock p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through there since the morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 o'clock when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5 o'clock. Now, the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked right by me at 2 o'clock p.m. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was headed toward the studio. You saw the defendant then? Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. Alright. So, the thing that we took away yesterday that was a little bit incomplete, you could say, was that the photo that was taken was not actually conclusively Will Powers. I was about to say Jack Powers, that would not have been correct. And so I'm wondering if we can press on that a little bit. Or maybe we can just present the evidence. Let's try that. Yeah, that is not conclusively Will Powers. It's somebody in the Steel Samurai outfit, and that includes a helmet. So let's present this and see if that is correct. Aha! Let me get this straight, old bag, or Miss Old Bag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? You're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo-Old Tokyo. Miss Oldbag, is this the Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course! Didn't your mama teach you any sense, sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right? No, they can't. Well, I mean, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. No one in this court is accusing you of that, Miss Witness. He's having trouble calling her old bag, apparently. However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you? Humph, nosy old man. Of course I have proof. What? Huh? Even Edgeworth is surprised. The prosecution would like to ask the witness, please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time. How was I supposed to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me, this isn't any evidence good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look. Wow, old Windbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof, then. The man in the photo. Alright. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now, look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his leg. Clear as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy? That is not proof. So he had sprained his ankle? Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She's got to be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. Alright, so that's probably a clue that we need to press her on stuff. Let's, I don't think we need to really worry about that. I'm actually going to start with this, because I'm curious to know what that prop was. He broke a prop. Sure did. His own samurai spear. His samurai spear? The murder weapon? Luckily I was there with my duct tape to fix it. This strikes me as a significant detail. I better write this down in the court record. Alright. Samurai spear updated in the court record. The murder weapon. A break in the shaft has been mended with duct tape. Okay, so that's interesting. Let's press on this. Was Mr. Powers' ankle badly sprained? Not so bad that he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch. Thus the nap. Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked. Dragging his foot? Okay. You can see he's dragging his leg. See? Clear as day. Let's press on this. I don't really think that's conclusive. Still, you can't look at this and say it's Mr. Powers. Yes, but only Mr. Powers would have been dragging his leg. Not necessarily, though. I mean, somebody could have, who knew about it and wanted to frame Will Powers, could have done that. He has a point. It does seem quite likely that it was Powers. There's got to be more to this. I better keep pressing him. Alright, wait a minute. I thought this was what we just did. Yeah, okay. It usually goes on to, like, the next thing, so... Well, Nick? Find any glaring contradictions? Well, she seems pretty sure that was Powers in that photo. I guess I'll just press her and see if I can shake her conviction. Okay. So we just need to go back and see if there's anything new here. Whippersnapper! Hey, I haven't even said anything yet. I'll have you know I'm not pointing fingers at anyone behind their backs. Everything I've said is on the straight and narrow. The up and up. Youth today, always whining about each other, pointing fingers this way and that. It's all the only lady want to cry. Mr. Wright, please, for all our sakes, try not to upset the witness. I think Edgeworth has met his match. Yeah, I would say that is the case. Alright, let's just keep going here. Who was present at the run-through? Well, let's see. There was Powers, he's the Steel Samurai. Or, there was Powers, he was the Steel Samurai. Then poor old Hammer, the evil magistrate. And me. Actually, that was what we saw in the photo that was used in the flashback. We saw her sitting in the back just watching the whole thing. And what exactly were you doing? Observing. Just observing. Yeah, sounds like more like fangirling. What about the assistant? Oh, she was off moving backdrops around and such. So she didn't see the run-through then. I saw Powers trip and fall. Okay. We didn't press this earlier, I don't believe. Trip and fall?
Yes, and to think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course. You helped make it better? I kissed it where it hurt. Well, let's just skip over that part, shall we? Yeah, I don't want to try to imagine any of that. Where is the assistant, then? Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle. You may continue your testimony. We did that. We did that. I think we've heard enough. Okay, so I think we just had to press everything until this point. Haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there's one thing that bothers me. Which is? Where's the Steel Samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. Actually, I think that is important. That sounds like a very interesting detail. The witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes. And it is clear that the person in the Steel Samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right. Are you sure you're sure, Your Honor? Well, I don't think we can really make it any further unless we raise an objection, so let's do it. Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, but we have to agree that this photo shows the Steel Samurai. Nowhere in this photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider that possibility also. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please? No need to ask twice. Witness's account continued. The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., true? The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. So if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be the Steel Samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Alright. Well, we know that's true. Let's, press this. Are you absolutely sure? Oh, quite, Sonny. No one's suspicious-looking passed by at all. That's an interesting qualifier to say right there. Nobody suspicious-looking. Right. But what about someone not suspicious-looking? What about before you got to the guard station? That's a really good question. You mean before 1 o'clock? Why, everyone was in the employee area before that. So here we see Jack Hammer and Will Powers on the right, and then there's Penny and Wendy Oldbag in the background. I guess that is a shirt, right? Yeah, that definitely looks like a shirt that he's wearing there. And I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Not to mention... Okay, if they had, I would have seen them. I'm gonna press that. Are you sure? The witness has answered the question. Anyone going into the studio had to pass by the witness. That's right, Sonny. You let him have it, edgy boy. Edgy boy? Let's try not to think too much about that. I like his reaction. Old Windbad sure has balls. Or, well, you know what I mean. Old windbags have a way of skipping over important details, after all. Or for that matter, entirely forgetting them. How convenient. Something for you to look forward to, perhaps? Phoenix! That's kind of mean. Alright, so, I guess we can just press everything else here. How do you know that? Eh? Didn't I just explain? I gave donuts to the young detective. And then, after some rubbish about it being a secret pal, he told me everything. I see Detective Gumshoe shares his fellow officer's fondness for donuts. Wait a minute. Did we do this one? Yeah, we did. I need to be more systematic about this. Well, I think at this point we need to look at the court record to see if there's anything glaringly suspicious about this. I doubt this is useful. We've kind of already established that people who are in the employee area were the only other folks who were apparently involved. Let me just make sure we didn't do this. Oh, yeah, we did this. Okay. Yeah, everyone was in the employee area. We locked the main gate. We did this, right? I don't know what I'm missing here. So obviously we need to present something. I don't think it's the autopsy report. One thing we haven't talked about yet is Studio 2, which obviously has that fallen tree there behind or past the gate, so I don't know if this is actually relevant considering that they wouldn't be able to get through the tree, if that is supposed to be what that's insinuating. But we've only talked about the two other places, so I'm wondering if we need to present this. Let's, I feel like this statement is the one that we need to do. Let's see if this is it. No. Yeah, we're gonna lose some points. Okay. If they had, I would have seen them. What am I missing here? Oh. There isn't any duct tape in this photo, is there? Hang on a sec. There isn't anything about the spear in here, right? I mean, I guess we can try to present that photo again. Yep, that's it. Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. Look at this photograph. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct? Yes, sirree, Sonny. So whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture? And here I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground. I would like to think that most people could know their head and distinguish it from a hole in the ground. Right. Anyway, it's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data. Ooh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening. That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo are printed the words, October 15th, 2 o'clock p.m., photo number 2.
Even I know that means it was taken at 2 o'clock p.m. on October... Oh, right! We don't have a photo number 1. I forgot about that. Derp. 2 o'clock p.m. on October the 15th. Really, Sonny? Actually, I knew that, too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says, photo number 2. Photo number 2? The computer only held data for 1 photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1 if it really was the only photo?
Order! Order! Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright.
I feel like that's kind of evident what it is. Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows that not 1, but 2 people went to the studio that day. Yet there's only data for 1 of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access, the security lady herself.
Eh? Me? You wash your mouth, whippersnapper.
The only person I saw that day was Will Powers. But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, yes, that's what it would seem to mean.
Can the witness explain this to the court?
I don't understand these newfangled computer things.
Edgy boy, help!
Also, isn't she gonna raise an objection about the fact that we've snooped around on her computer? I'm surprised she's not bringing that up. Huh? But believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either. Humph, some help you are. You're a whippersnapper too. Whippersnapper?
Something the matter, Miss Old Bag?
Ah, that's right. I just remembered something.
Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Someone other than the Steel Samurai?
Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way. Okay, well, this seems like a really important piece of information.
I see. Your testimony, please.
The other person. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. Here, one sec. There we go. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo that day.
Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this.
Well, of course, Sonny. I've only just remembered it.
Right. Anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination.
Well, I'd say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Every day after I finish my guard duty... Oh, that's right, we already did this. Let's press her on this, because this seems rather subjective. How exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking? Oh, you can tell by looking at their faces, for the most part. That is not necessarily the case. For the most part? This is a murder trial, Miss Oldbag. Well, I didn't touch that suspicious-looking Will Powers' photo, did I? I think she's missing the point. Come to... well, can we press her on what this photo was of? Well, who in the heck was in that photo you erased? Humph. A fanboy. Fanboy? Steel Samurai fanboys. Real freaks, if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. One was there that day. Wait a second, didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words. Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. Yes, we actually saw that. Right there. The grate has been loose for a while. It leads outside, and well, that's where they come in.
They come in through the drain. I told you they were freaks. Oh, and they're kids, children, whippersnappers. I guess that makes sense considering that they need to fit through that grate. Kids? So on the photo that you erased, it was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade. What? Order! Order! Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was the Steel Samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be in about 2nd or 3rd grade. Oh yes, well we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him. A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade. I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield the samurai spear. Impossible, I think. It's quite heavy. Right, as I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data. Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there, that makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. This court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time. October 18th, 11:08 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Mr. Powers? Yes? Tell me straight, were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio? Oh, I didn't go to the studio! I was sleeping, honest. So who was the Steel Samurai in that security photo? How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really. What? You should take better care of that stuff. I couldn't imagine anyone would want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. Dude, there are fanboys, as we've heard here, so I feel like they might even be able to do something like that, maybe through a coordinated effort. So, where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now. Nick! What are we gonna do? First, we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could have conceivably have done this. Right! And it will take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day! Right, but if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Hey, Nick, it's time. Okay, let's go. What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that. Alright, we're back. So we have to pick a more likely suspect, and I actually have an idea of who that might be. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thoughts on this matter? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studios was a boy of roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence, but there is still no one else that could have committed this crime. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Very well, Mr. Wright, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Order! Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who's obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right. Great. As if the stakes weren't high enough. So, who is this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed murder? Well, I think the answer that would make the most sense is the assistant girl. She was the only other one who was in the the employee area, and who was already there. And she was the one who apparently found the body. So that makes her someone who was closest to the crime at the time it was discovered. It was the assistant. The Steel Samurai costume was in his dressing room. She stole it, and in doing so, she became the Steel Samurai. So you're saying the Steel Samurai in the picture is really the assistant? That's correct, Your Honor. If you're serious, you've got guts, Mr. Wright. Remember the photo? Wasn't the Steel Samurai a little lame? He was dragging his foot. Oh. Uh-oh. Bad feeling time. Oh, wait, was that the wrong answer? Remember the testimony concerning Powers' injury. Powers and poor Hammer were at the run-through. Oh, and me. What about the assistant? Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle. Oh, right. I forgot about that. Never mind. That was not the correct answer. The assistant knew nothing of Mr. Powers' injury. She could look the Steel Samurai look with that costume. But she couldn't walk the Steel Samurai walk. She wouldn't have limped. Ugh. That kind of takes the legs out from under that case. Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I have to penalize you as I warned. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. May we move on, Mr. Wright? Grr, this fight isn't over yet. If you would, Your Honor, one more chance, please. Very well, go ahead. So who is this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed murder? Oh, well, the security lady was the only other person who was at that run-through, so she would have known about the ankle, so let's name her. It was the security lady, Wendy Oldbag. Who? The Steel Samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about that morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady, Oldbag. What? Whippersnapper. Order! Order! Is this true, Oldbag? Oldbag? That's Miss Oldbag to you! Miss Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the Steel Samurai costume. Steal the Steel Samurai costume. I gotta say that 5 times fast. Then slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder. Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the Steel Samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in his costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. Well, alternatively, though, she could have also deleted the photo like she did of the boy. Oh yeah, right here. Sherlock Holmes II, baby. That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection and some new damning evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time. What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so you all think I did it? Is that it? Edgy boy, don't just sit there, do something! What's my move? Maybe now's my chance to take this the whole way? Give Granny a break? No, I'm not doing that. The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's actions on that day. But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer? You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a queer motive too. Indeed. Now, that's one thing we haven't even talked about this whole time. What would Will Powers' motive even be? It's like he's the star of the show. It's not like Jack Hammer is taking anything away from him, necessarily. That did it. Now Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope. Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy! The one whose photo I erased!
He's only a grade schooler, though, as you said. Second or third grade, was it? But that doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds, tops. Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? That boy is not the killer. What? How can you be so sure? Oh, is it be nice to the kids and mean to your elders day? Whippersnapper! Wait, that's the judge's voice. I did not switch. I have proof. Wait, we do? Proof? Indeed. Then let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed this murder? Is it this? Your Honor, the murder weapon was the samurai spear. That very spear is shown here in this photo. I'm still wondering about the duct tape, though. I don't see it. Unless... Wait a minute, is that the duct tape? I thought that was just, like, part of the weapon, but maybe that is the duct tape. How could the boy have taken the spear? It's impossible. I see. Well, would the witness here care to comment on this? Murph. The windbag speechless. This has got to be a first. Very well. This court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Miss Wendy... What was her name? Something old bag, Your Honor. The prosecution will look further into this old bag before we continue. That is all. This court is adjourned. Alright. Well, wait a second! I'm not going to just sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me! I'm talking. Oh, great. Stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk. Man, everybody's being really mean to Miss Oldbag. Miss Oldbag, what is this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony? It wouldn't be surprising. Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about. Not to talk about? By whom? Huh? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk? Well, I'll testify. Okay, my lips were sealed. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder. Oh, well that changes a lot. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studios that day. But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free. Miss Oldbag! This is crucial information! Why did you keep this from the court until now? Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told. No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old bag. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. I feel like the judge is kind of looking forward to the cross-examination in this case. Alright, let's ask about this. Who were these people? Well, the director and the producer, for starters. The director? We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without a director? Of course. Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it. So, where were these people? The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime and they had a meeting after that. Where? Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer. Studio 2? There was a Studio 2? Yeah, Phoenix, it's on the map. Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You go through the gate and all the way to the left. The path where the monkey's head was fallen over. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination?
I think I've already asked all my questions, but sure, why not? Let's press about this. Miss Oldbag, this is a trial for murder. I know that's silly. Still, they were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it. And they gave me a little bonus on the side. So you got your bonus and you still talk. I think I've asked all the questions I have to ask. I guess there's no harm in getting as much info as I can. And let's just see what she says here. So you were told not to talk? That's right, by the studio and the TV bigwigs, no less. Why didn't I hear about this? Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We were all in on it. Yeah, someone was in on something. We already did that. Let's press this. For some reason, we didn't go through this line last time. So they were actually in the studio? Yes, the whole day. When they heard about the murder, they beat it before the cops came. I'll kill this woman, I swear it. How are we hearing Edgeworth's thoughts? I feel sorry for Edgeworth, almost. She really left him hanging on this one. But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free. Them? Who were these people? Oh, we already did this, so I guess you just... Wait, this is like both of the pieces of dialogue for the second and third lines that she had. That's a little weird. I guess they make sure that you see this. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination? I think I've already asked all my questions, but what happens if we do this? Your Honor, we have learned there were others at Global Studios on the day in question. The director and the producer and some bigwigs were all present. Yet, as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defense's points. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbag, and more information about these other people we've just been told of. I understand, Your Honor. This ends the day's proceedings in the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. This court is adjourned. October 18th, 1:04 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 3. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me. Oh, really, it's nothing. Or should I... We'll be going down to the studios to do more investigating. We have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. So now's my chance to get material for the cross-examination. So Nick, have we figured out just who it was in that steel samurai costume? Could it really have been old Windbag? What do you think, Mr. Powers? I don't think it was her, really. Neither do I, Nick. Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers. Poor old Windbag. I kind of feel sorry for her. Well, she wasn't winning any points in there with or without my accusation. Okay, let's get down to the studios. Right! We'll be back to visit you soon. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Alright. We have survived the first day in trial. Alright, well, like Maya, I do kind of feel sorry for Miss Oldbag, but hopefully we can redirect the suspicion to someone who might be a little bit more likely to be the suspect, since it doesn't seem like any of us agree that she did it. So, we'll see what we can turn up next time So until then, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves today, and I will catch you in the next episode. So take care and see you then.